Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm finally getting around to it. I'm going to do a video of my complete collection of Living Dead doll minis. My collection consists of 67. The official total is 77. And I'll explain in a little bit why mine is still considered complete. So without further ado, let's get into it. So before I go into the minis in detail, I just want to show you the scale first. So the minis, which started in 2002 in August, they're about 4 inches tall. They're based on the 10-inch dolls. They have very basic articulation. They can move their arms. They can turn their head. And depending on what their clothes are made of, they can easily sit, such as my little mini here of loose sapphire. They each came with a mini coffin, and I don't have any of them, but they came with attachment that was a noose, and you will put the noose around their neck and clip it to your bag, or you can hang them. And the first couple of minis didn't have their names on the mini coffins, which changed as the series of minis progressed. But like I said, they're mini versions of the 10-inch dolls. So let's get into the series. Now, Series 1 consisted of the Fab Five: Sadie, Damien, Posey, and Exorcist. And as I said earlier, they were released in August of 2002. Series 2 is the next row. I had a double of loose sapphire. So this is Series 2, which is Lizzie Borden, Deborah Ann, Lou, Kitty, and for some reason, a bedtime Sadie was used instead of school time Sadie. And there is a reason for that, and I'll show you in a bit. And then Series 3, right here, consisted of Schizo, Lilith, Lottie, Bride of Valentine, and Sheena. Now, part of the reason why my collection is 67 and it's complete is because each of these were released as individual coffins. Now, I didn't buy them in individual coffins. I actually bought these 5 plus Sinister Minister and Bad Habit, the red version. They are part of the first mausoleum set. Here's a picture of what the mausoleum set looks like. The mausoleum sets were sold a little later, in 2003, and they were actually a Spencer's exclusive, which I did leave out of my retail exclusive videos when I talked about Spencer's. And they had another mausoleum set, okay, which had Series 3, Schizo, Lilith, Lottie, etc. And the 2 minis here came with the mausoleum set. And as the only way you can get these 2, along with Sinister Minister and Bad Habit, is if you bought them from the mausoleum set. Now, I didn't think it was worth having duplicates of the Fab Five and Schizo and company. It just didn't make any sense. So that's why my collection, though complete, is technically not complete because I don't have doubles of those. Okay? So the next series, okay, is Penny, Dr. Deadwin, Nurse Necro, Died and Doom. So there were series 4. Okay, and they were released in June of 2004. Again, individually. So Died and Doom and Nurse Necro and Dr. Deadwin, even though they are sold as a duo pack in their original 10-inch scale, these minis were sold individually. Series 2, by the way, was released in March of 2003. Okay. Series 5, here, Series 5 is Macumba, Sybil, Lulu, Miss Eerie, and Inferno. Okay. Now, one thing to note about the minis, they're based on their 10-inch doll, but they don't necessarily come with the same accessories. If the 10-inch doll had an accessory, they wouldn't come with it. However, they do get as close to the original 10-inch as possible, such as Inferno, one of my favorite ones. She actually has the retractable wings, like her doll, which is really cute. Here. And someone like Macumba, for example, he doesn't come with his voodoo doll. And it's fine, because like I said, they're 4 inches and they came in these little mini coffins, so it would probably be impossible to make those accessories so small. And the minis retailed for $7.99, about $6.99, $7.99, and pretty much were available store-wide, the same place you would find Living Dead doll minis. So, like, for example, Kitty, she doesn't come with her pom-poms. Lou doesn't come with his cane. Deborah Ann didn't come with her crown for some reason, which I thought was kind of weird, since, you know, characters like Macumba, Miss Eerie, they came with hats. And Deborah Ann has a crown. Not sure why they couldn't make a crown. So the next ones I'm going to talk about are these exclusives. So this exclusive here is this Bloody Eggie, and she was sold at a convention in Florida in January 2003. She retailed for $20. They made 3,000 of these, and each one came with a certificate that was hand signed by Ed Long and Damian Glonick. Here's a picture of that set. I bought this one for $10, and it did not come with the set. I'm sorry, it did not come with the certificate. So the certificate looks similar to a deaf certificate, like that the 10-inch dolls came with. So the certificate also did not come inside the coffin, so it's always loose. So that's why many sellers who sell this version of Eggie are missing that certificate. So if you are in the hunt for this particular one, like I said, the ones that come with a certificate will cost more than the one I bought for like $10. And at the time, it's fine. I just wanted, you know, to complete my collection, so I'm not too broken up about the certificate. But that's the Bloody Eggie from the FX show in Florida. Okay. And she's the only one that came with their certificate. And as you know, the Jeepers. I'm not going to get into much detail. I did talk about Jeepers in my Club Mez exclusive, so that's Jeepers. Oop. And of course, my Tragedy and Misery set, which again I talked about when I talked about the Hot Topic retail exclusive. So this was exclusively sold in Hot Topic, and the only couple to be sold together. And they had a chipboard with their names. And here's another set that I talked about, the Christmas Carol, which again I won't go into detail because I did talk about these dolls in my Christmas video of the Christmas exclusives that Mezco did. They came in this packaging. Really cute set, the Christmas Carol set. Okay, the last series that they have that's similar to series 1 through 4 is series 5, which is the Halloween series. These are dolls all from series 16. Okay, Mishka, Isabel, Squeak, Pumpkin, and Eleanor. And they actually came with their mask. So Mishka, I have her mask in the back. Isabel came with her little eye mask. Squeak, that's her pig mask in the back. She didn't come with a tail like her original doll. Her original doll has a little tail. This one didn't come with a tail. The hardest one to get was Pumpkin for me in my collection. There's his mask in the back. And of course, Eleanor the ghost. And she came with her ghost costume. All right. So these were released around the same time as their Series 16 10-inch counterparts. And these were the last series of minis based on the 10-inch doll coffin series to come out. And this series of dolls had a variant set. Okay. The variant set, the colors are orange and black. So the way I displayed my variant set, I have their mask on. So I'm not going to take off their mask. They look the same, just in orange, but here's a picture of them without their masks from Mezco. Okay. It's hard to hold all of them at once. Hold on. Okay. Here's Eleanor. I have her under her ghost costume. And here's Isabella. I think Isabella is the coolest one. The way she has that little mask in her hand and she can hold it. It's really cool. So this particular variant set was very limited. It was sold through Mezco Direct, and it was limited to 300 sets. So it's a very, not terribly rare. You could still get them, but you will pay a little bit more for them. Okay, so those are the variant Halloween minis. Now the next set of minifigures, there's a total of 9 of them. I'm sorry, there's a total of 12 of them. So I want to go as slow as possible because it does get a little tricky. So the series you see in front of you are from Club Mez releases that they did for Japan and Hong Kong. So these weren't available, as far as I know, here in the US. So they have different stylings from their 10-inch counterparts. So that's Exorcist. This is Sadie. You can tell by her 2 different color eyes. And of course, this is Posey. And it's the same, but in different colors. Now now these 3 are from the Hong Kong Toy 2R retailer, which made the Hong Kong penny. And this trio, they are from they're the Japanese release, same retailer, Toy R2. Now what's unique about, and the reason why I have 12 of them, which is they have an exact same set, and I'll show you in a moment. One set their faces glow in the dark, and the other set, I'll show you in a moment, only the eyes glow in the dark. Okay, so as I was saying, so the ones you see in front of you, those faces glow in the dark, I made a mistake. They are Club Med exclusives. And the glow in the dark eyes, which I'll show you in a moment, are from Toy 2R exclusive. Still, these three were in a white box, and these three were in a red box. The white box was for Hong Kong, and the red box was for Japan. They were limited to 500 sets. That means 500 each of the trio. And their counterparts, the Toy R2 had more sets at $999. Now these three glow in the dark, just their eyes, but they look exactly the same as the ones with the glow in dark faces. It's very confusing. I actually had to go back on my notes to make sure I get it straight. So, like I said, these glow in the dark with their eyes, and these glow in the dark with their faces. You can tell the difference by and it's really hard to make out in camera, but they do have a different tint to them. The glow in the dark ones, the one with the faces, have a slightly darker tint than the ones that their eyes glow in the dark. And these are the ones that glow in the dark in the eyes. So they're exactly the same, which makes it very difficult when looking for these online. I have bought them at different sales on the secondary market. I always ask the seller if the faces glow in the dark, and it's easy to see. I'll show you here. See how Posy's eyes glow in the dark? And you see how their faces glow in the dark. They actually feel different too. They have a different texture than the ones that glow in the dark only in the eyes. But again, if you're searching for them, definitely make sure you ask questions. And they come in different packaging, the red and the white for the two sets, but across the board they come either in red or white. The question is, which you would have to ask the seller if you're seeing it on the secondary market, is if their eyes versus their faces glow in the dark. And that's why I have 12 of them, and that's why it's worth the duplicates versus buying series 1 all over again, because they are distinctly different. For me, that's worth buying sets that look exactly alike. So that is the Toy 2R exclusives and the Club exclusive minis glow in the dark. The next mini is actually part of a stationery set, and this one contains School Time Sadie. Now, I keep her display in her stationery set. It's really cute. This is the only way you can get this particular mini. She comes with a back to school stationery set. Like there's a little plastic baggie that says corner, so that would hold your pencils, which comes with pencils. Comes with a pen that says Living Dead Dolls. Comes with an paper and envelopes. Comes with a ruler and some stickers. Really cute set. And like I said, this is the only way you can get School Time Sadie. That's why she was missing from the Series 2 series. That they used the Sleepy Time Sadie instead of this one. She also comes with an eraser that can double as a little tombstone and a pencil sharpener. This stationery set was exclusive to a retailer called Mars Distribution, who also had Hemlock and Honey, that duo set. This was released in August of 2002. There are about 3,000 sets. So it's not rare. You could still today buy this stationery set for pretty reasonable price. It goes anywhere from $25 to $40. But it's still very, very available on the secondary markets. I rarely see her sold by herself. So if you do want her, you will have to buy this stationery set. Or you can just keep searching. Sometimes she will pop up in sellers selling a lot, like a group of them. But it's very rare. Your best bet, it's much cheaper just to get her as part of the stationery set. And like I said, $25 to $40 it should run you by. And that is School Time Sadie. And you have this cutie, the mini Sadie from the Wonderland series. I did talk about her in my Sadie video. She came with the giant Sadie that's about 12 or 13 inches. You can only get her with that giant Sadie. And that Sadie, unfortunately, does run a pretty penny. I've never seen her by herself. She's always with that Sadie set. So if you want her, she's probably one of the most expensive of the minis. Besides the Hong Kong minis or the Mezco Direct Halloween, but she's up there in terms of price. So, the doll's worth getting, but that's the only way you can get this little cutie. So that is the Wonderland Mini Sadie. Next set of minis are from Lost in Oz. And the Living Dead Dolls has a series that's based on the Wizard of Oz story. So here in front of me, in front of you, are the Munchkins. They're very evil, sinister Munchkins. They came in a 3-pack that sold for about $30. I actually have another set in box. And here's a photo of them. Really cool addition to the Wonderland series. They can move just like the others. They actually sit very well. Of all the minis, they actually sit well. So when I pose them, I have one sitting and the other two standing, so they could fit on the shelf. In addition to the Munchkins, we have the Flying Monkey minis. Now these were an Entertainment on Earth exclusive. They came in a similar packaging as the Munchkins, but their packaging says Entertainment on Earth, and they are so cute. I love how they have different expressions, and they actually have wings that move, so you can pose the wings up and down. Cute. And look at the little ears. Oh my god. So these are so cute. So I actually have these displayed in a flying pose for my Oz dolls. Really cute. So I took them down so I could do this video to show you the flying monkeys. Really cute. So that is the complete rundown of all 67 Living Dead doll minis. Now, they had one more proposed series. They would have been Series 7. Here's a picture of that. That was from 2010 or 2011 release at a convention, either San Diego or Toy Fair. I'm not sure which one. But Series 7 was supposed to come out around 2010. And it never made it to production. That's a shame. But there is one more mini set that's very rare. There's only 50 of them made. And that's the Damien and Sierra mini set. And here's a picture of that. They were made to celebrate Damien and his wife Sierra's marriage. When they got married, they made 50 sets for the guests. I did see this particular set sold once, like 4 or 5 years ago on eBay for $666. I actually thought this set was fake, but it is real, and it was released in 2003 on Halloween, of course. And well, not released. It debuted at their wedding when they got married, and I would love to have this set, but I'm not holding my breath. And I don't know if I want to pay $666. So the official end of the minis was 2016 with the release of the Wonderland set. Well, 2006, yeah, with the Wonderland set, because they came much later. So there you have it. That's all of the minis. I hope the video wasn't too much of a mess. I just want to, go over them as quickly as possible so it's not a long video. And the Hong Kong Club Mez and the TR2 retail, they're very confusing, and I had to get that straight. But like I said, do your research, especially if you're interested in those international sets. Definitely ask the sellers the question. It's very easy. All they have to do is just shine a light on the faces to tell you if it's the glow-in-the-dark eyes versus the glow-in-the-dark faces. So I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more videos of Living Dead dolls. And as always, happy hunting.